Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Good morning. Welcome to the October 23rd, 2013 Lorain County Board of Commissioners meeting. Commissioner Williams has our dog this morning.
Microphone?
Okay, we have a big dog here, a good guy. Male boxer is going to be available on the 24th, tomorrow, the 24th. And very nice dog, good temper, loves to run, a lot of energy. So if you're getting ready to go running in the snow, good dog to have. And if this isn't your type of dog, come down to the kennel and take a look at all the other dogs we have.
Madam Clerk?
Under Resolutions, number 1, Job and Family Services Bills.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
No investments and appropriations.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
No advances, no repayments, requisitions.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Was that the one where we had the renovations for the clerk's office with the requisitions? Did we pull that? We got an email saying that they didn't bid it out.
What's your question, Commissioner?
The Clerk of Courts, new building, the renovations there that need to be rebid.
I don't think they can be rebid.
Oh, they can't be rebid?
My understanding is some of the work has already been completed.
Oh, no. So we don't
There were
have,
emails backwards and forwards, well, we got yesterday from Lisa in the afternoon, that it wasn't bid out, he just took the one bids, and they went forward on it, and the work is mostly completed, correct, Lisa?
Yes, they had already started the work. They didn't get the 3 quotes.
Right, they didn't get the 3 quotes, but the electrical one did get stopped
I
a
ha-
week ago. Susan stopped that, and you've got that, but that did get competitive quotes.
Yes, and the after they got competitive quotes, we chose another company.
Okay.
So you may want to add this to the package. I was going to bring it up. You can take a look, Commissioner's 3 quotes there. Originally, it was South Shore, and unfortunately, that quote was a little higher, and they weren't a successful bidder after we got 3 quotes for that work.
So it then went to Firelands Electric as the low bid on the
Yes.
electrical.
Yes.
Good catch, Susan and Lisa.
But the
so
other...
we need to add, do we need to add this
We'll
one
add-
then?
yeah.
You'll add it?
If
Firelands
you're all
Electric?
approved for it, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
The other, unfortunately, the other ones came to our attention
After the fact?
after work commenced, and we weren't able to push them back out for bid.
What'd you call those, then and now when you were in Lorain?
I don't know. I don't think we called them anything, and I don't remember that ever happening.
Things that
before.
were already done and then they're paid afterwards. I remember an argument a couple years ago in council with that.
What was the breakdown on it?
I think there's, what, $12,000-$15,000?
Yes.
No, I mean, how did it not go out for?
Well, I can't tell you. We just got these bills to pay because their work was being done, and we inquired on them. We weren't involved in that. It was submitted to us that way. So there's no breakdown on our end. fact, we just made the inquiry into it because there was no additional proposals and there was no POs to pay the bills with.
There's no recourse? I mean, what happens in a situation like this? I've never come across this before.
Well, what recourse? These folks,
They
these
do the work, you gotta pay 'em.
Right.
people who are doing the work, they were told to do the work, and I think they need to be paid. I don't know what you decide to do with the way this happened, but, your requirement is for it to be, unless there's an unusual situation, we have had unusual situations, but to be submitted beforehand and generally to have 3 quotes because of, it's not hugely expensive, but when we get into this area, we get additional quotes. And we try to get 3. We're not always successful, as you
Right,
know.
yeah.
And then sometimes things are sole source vendor, or we already have an existing contract, or there's state terms. So there's various reasons. I can't tell you why it wasn't done this time. We weren't responsible for this work, and I'm unable to respond correctly. You would have to ask Mr. Nabokowski's office on that. I don't know if anybody's here from there.
But I don't think you're gonna hold up paying the
Well, no,
vendors,
how do we prevent this from happening in the future is, one of the things
They should be aware of our policies, and they're all aware of it.
you would think. He was a commissioner at one time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would like to look, I don't know, I can smell what's cooking, but it doesn't smell good.
Well, I understand your concern. We also try not to have anything in the board package that doesn't conform to the wishes of the board. That's why this one, we didn't pull them out because the work already commenced. It's not fair to the people that are doing the work for us that expected to get paid. I did indicate to the budget director, at least note to you what occurred, so you weren't caught blindsided on that. If you don't pay those bills, they don't get paid, and I suppose the Clerk of Courts would have to figure that out. But I don't know how equitable that is to honest contractors who just wanted to work.
Right.
Yeah. Can you ask Mr. Nabokowski for a detailed explanation on how this occurred? And just take a look at it further. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with what, or anything.
I already know how it occurred. I already made that inquiry.
Okay.
He spoke to the person who owned the building, because we're leasing space in the building, and that person recommended these contractors. So he contacted them and authorized the work. I already made that inquiry.
All right.
It's
I have
water
some
under the
co-
bridge, I guess, but I
Yeah.
would like to make
I
sure
have
that
some
this doesn't happen in
concerns
the
with that,
future.
just because I know who owns the building too, and I understand some of the political parts on that. I just want to make sure there was nothing.
I can't respond to that. Mr. Nabokowski or his representative would have to respond to that. Again, I did have the same question you had. Well, how do we select these vendors? And that's what I was told.
And Jerry, is there anything that your office can do to look into that?
If we get a request, we can do that.
Would the board like to have him look into it at least?
I mean,
They're for
Just-
small
Just-
contractors, I mean, it doesn't look
Uh,
like
at
it's.
least it wasn't Ted's floor covering. It
Yeah,
was
there's no
another-
Ted's floor coverings in there, no.
We're very
Not
conscious to
political.
look
If
for
it
that.
was-
We're very conscious to look for that
We'd had a
one.
big problem then.
Yeah, no, I'm not in there.
It's not unusual for building owners to
Have
have
sub-trades they
contractors
use,
that they
right.
generally use. This is a strip shopping area.
Mm-hmm.
They like that for consistency of work. They know the building, they know the infrastructure of the building. So it's not unusual for that to occur. So while I'm not defending this, I too know who owns the building, and I don't know that there's politics in this, but I have seen that occur, and because they know the electrical systems, the plumbing systems, so when they're doing the renovation, the familiarity keeps things consistent with what the owner's desires are with regard to tenant renovations.
Yeah. And as someone that's done it, I also know I look out for my best interest
Understand.
as a leaser, and I go with the best price. And I
And-
don't go with somebody who,
Oh, I understand. I concur, and that's why we get 3 quotes. Even if they were suggested to us, we get 3 quotes and we do the comparables.
so that's a note, you're saying no to
Well, I
having?
mean, I don't know what we can do. There's nothing that we can really do, but
Oh, that's right.
Maybe
Does
send-
Jerry have room for that on his plate again?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to more of our,
Send a
know
memo
what the-
to
yeah, I mean,
the
I would,
departments or whatever to let them know that we require 3 bids, and just a reminder. Maybe slipped his mind, I don't know.
I can do that, and if you want me to prepare a small correspondence to the prosecutor's office, asking him to review this matter, I'll do that too, whatever the desire of the board is.
that'd be fine, Jim.
Yeah,
Okay, consider it done.
thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Travel?
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Bills?
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within the jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cordez, I'm assuming you have a laundry list of things for us?
I have a few. I have some potential new hires I would like to discuss with the board. At the Kennel, Golden Acres, I also am in receipt of a fact-finding report with regard to the ongoing labor negotiations with the United Auto Workers of America at Job and Family Services that we need to take up for action, and the potential sale or purchase of real estate. Those topics are allowable for executive session discussion, so I'd ask at the conclusion of our regular board meeting today, we go into executive session and we talk about those items that I have identified. Thank you.
Thank you.
Approve and waive the reading of the Commissioners' meeting minutes of October 9th.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing necessary tax levies and certifying to the County Auditor.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Authorize issuance of not to exceed $1,115,000 for building acquisition refunding bonds.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
This amount has changed. Authorize issuance of not to exceed $1,335,000 highway improvement refunding bonds.
$1,135,000.
5,000.
$1,335,000.
335, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thousand. You
$1,000,
said
yes.
million.
Yeah.
Million twice, huh?
So moved.
Second.
Why not? Any discussion? Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Authorize issuance of not to exceed $5,100,000 for the 911 Center Improvement Bonds Phase 1.
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner,
Discussion.
for just a moment.
Yes.
Since we got
You
through
know,
the three of
update on
these.
this?
Well, just a few items. I'm not in receipt of our final bond rating, but I have worked on the draft with Moody's. I am pleased to tell you that we're going to maintain a stable outlook and a AA2, which is 2 points from the top. Moody's was hugely impressed with the way the commissioners have managed through all of the difficulties over the last few years, and they continue to believe that while the fiscal future is uncertain and that revenues are definitely being significantly challenged, the board has showed a determination to work those things out and stay within the guidelines, and that we're not in any jeopardy going forward. And that's truly a ringing resolution of what this board has faced and the challenges and the decisions you've made. So right now, going out to bond for us is a good opportunity. The markets are still very inexpensive for borrowing. Our rating is still up there, so that even enhances our ability to borrow less costly in the market. And we all know that, potentially next year, and we have explained that to Moody's, some of the challenges we're facing, and the conditions may not be as ripe as they are today. So if anybody's wondering why we're doing all this, it's the perfect opportunity
Correct.
to finish some of this stuff up. And the refi doesn't save us any money. That refinance will save on some road improvement, bonding for the engineer, that's a piece of that. And also, the little bit we save will be when we bought the Board of Elections building several years ago. So that's all tied up in the building acquisition and refund on the bonds. So, well, we're going to lower the rate there about 4%.
Beautiful.
Overall on the global payment. Not huge money, but it's a few dollars, and it makes sense right now.
Wonderful, thank you.
You also at our IAC meeting yesterday spoke to the treasurer about possibly doing that in-house.
I'm encouraged if they take it as a 20-year. One of the fears I have is that we broke up a couple into 5-year renewables, and that's challenging because we have a responsibility, especially on revenue bonds, to make sure that we're getting the best rates. Right now, money is, again, inexpensive in the market for us. I really hate to do a 5-year with renewables with the treasurer, only to find out that money is a little bit more costly to have in a few years, and that we're accessing the market at an inopportune time. I think that if they do a 20-year and they take this, it certainly would be wonderful for the county, and also we can have the competitive rate for a long period of time. We'll put a callable in, which we usually do a few years down the road to take a look at it. But we need to stabilize our yield curve. While we're short, we're about 2.5 years on the yield curve, waiting for the market to shift so we can reaccess some higher yielding commodities. We need to balance that short end portfolio with a longer end portfolio, and that's something I've been talking about for a few years.
That's
And
right.
I think finally, I'm getting some attention on that. We should have a good portion, but not so huge that we don't have liquidity and the ability to move in and out. But these 20-year bonds offer that. It'll flatten that spike in bottom that we keep getting in the market because we're so limited in our investment strategies by the Ohio Revised Code. Putting a bond for 20 years in there for $5 million, $10 million, $20 million worth of those at 4.5%, 5%. Will really make it easier to get through these ups and downs in the market.
Right, it'll level out the portfolio.
Well, we'll get a little less on the top end when things are really good, but we certainly won't be scraping under the barrel like we've been. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get that done as a private placement internally.
I hope so.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Consolidate the 3 bond issues of the county in consolidated bond issue and establish terms as such for a total of $7,550,000.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
One more piece on this so that
Yeah.
you're aware. We delayed action on the capital improvement bond that the board had authorized, and we were going to probably be in notes on that for a while, and a couple other pieces that we'll be bringing back to you in January. We were, because we had done some things early in the year, we were going to exceed our $10 million limitation on bank qualified tax exempt bonding capacity. Again, nothing to fear, it's just that the federal government sets the 10 million, and after that you can issue debt, but what they call it's not bank qualified, non-taxable again. So we didn't want to exceed that ceiling because it enhances the bonds and we get a better rate if we can keep them tax exempt. So we're going to do some additional financing in January. I don't want that to come to you as a surprise and say, well, why didn't we coalesce it all into this in October and November? So that would be the reason.
Thank you.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Add section 7.24 personal information policy and section 7.25 fraud reporting whistleblower protection to the Commissioner's personnel policy manual.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Will that be sent to all the departments, similar to our other personnel issues?
We can. I don't know which departments actually follow the Commissioner's personnel manual, but we will.
Please submit it to all the departments so they're aware of what we're doing.
I got you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under Community Development, approve the updated revolving loan fund, enter into contract with Lorain County Economic and Industrial Development Corporation, empowering and commissioning the latter to administer the RLF in accordance with the guidelines established by the Ohio Department of Services Agency and the Community Development Block Grant Program, and in accordance with the RLF plan and guidelines developed for the County of Lorain and approved by the Ohio Department of Services Agency.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Authorize payments from the NSP3 activities account 20612063.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under Golden Acres, amend Resolution 13862 adopted October 16, 2013, authorizing the administrator to prepare all necessary documents for a quitclaim deed to transfer lots of Golden Acres to the County Port Authority, and upon sale, less administrative fee and expenses proceeds to the county within 60 days. Said amendment is to include the parcels and the legal descriptions.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under Job and Family, authorized purchase service agreement with Irrigation Sales and Services LLC for snow plowing, salting services for fiscal year 14, effective November 1st, 2013 through April 30th, 2014, in the amount not to exceed $15,000. Authorized director to execute on behalf of the board and amend for changes in content, increase with prosecutor's approval as to form.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under Solid Waste, approve the renewal insurance policy with Chartis effective October 27, 2013 through October 27, 2014 for the HHW Collection Center in the amount of $10,652.
Mr. Bailey?
Commissioners, Keith Bailey, Solid Waste Director. This is renewal of the policy for emergency response and potential spills at the collection center concerning types of materials we have, all right?
Is the rate competitive to what it was last year?
Yes, sir, very much so. And getting 3 quotes on this for Jonette is always hell, believe me, so. It's a tough policy to get. All right.
I remember that.
Did we take out the terrorist provision?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I was a little concerned that, we had that terrorist rider in there. I really don't think any terrorists are coming to Elyria to steal our recyclables. So we did knock that out of that quote.
That's
'Cause
The clerk is saying.
Yes, it was not included. in
Okay, because I
Not
sent out
included.
some emails and I didn't get a follow-up on
All
that,
right.
so I'm glad that that's gone. Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Reject the bid received for scrap tire collection due to being incomplete. Re-advertise for bids in Chronicle on October 24th and 31st and open at November 7th at 2 p.m.
Mr. Bailey?
We received 1 bid and no bid bond. We suggest commissioners reject the bids at this point in time so we can move forward, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under Board of Elections, award contract to Master Renovations, Inc., Orville, in the amount of $98,200 for the roof, which includes an allowance. 4 bids received on October 17th, this being the most responsive. Issue notice to proceed on or before October 28th and complete on or before November 22nd, to be paid from the capital improvements account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under the engineer, determined to proceed with the construction of Redford Road, Columbia Township, Forest Main Sanitary Sewer Improvement Number 122 with the Lorain County General Sewer District.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. No? Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under the treasurer, rescind account 14171, the insurance reserve U-Trust account at Star, Ohio. This created an unnecessary duplication in the Oracle bookkeeping process, and the Budget Commission's Budget Commission approved to close this at the last meeting in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 570513A13.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Cortez?
I have no additional comments this morning. Thank you.
Mr. Ennis?
I wasn't anticipating being here today, Commissioners, so I don't have any report ready.
Yeah, your name wasn't on the list here.
I was expected to be in a hearing, but
Okay.
that
Well, we're
continues.
glad you're here.
I gave Mr. Petticourt a chance, but he respectfully declined.
Okay.
Commissioners report.
It's a pretty busy week. Last Thursday, Frank DiTilio, they had a recognition dinner for him for being president of the Chamber of Commerce for like the last 26 years. I got to read a resolution at that event, and just, I was winded. He has done so much in his community with not only economic development, but with his church and all kinds of different things, founding member of so many different organizations throughout Lorain County. So it's a really nice recognition celebration for Frank. Saturday, Goodwill had their first fundraiser, and it was really fun. It was at the Rose Cafe at Lakeview Park, and they had different items on each table that came from the Goodwill stores, and you had to guess at the cost of what that would be if you would buy it on eBay. So they gave away, I think, a $50 gift certificate for whoever came closest. I didn't win. Then they also had a lot of good door prizes for a Chinese raffle that they had. So hopefully they made a lot of money at that event. Monday, the Auditor of State came in, Mr. Yost, and we had everybody from all around Lorain County. We had mayors of Lorain and Elyria, we had township people, education, people from the different schools, all kinds of different people came in, and basically The most discussion was about the cuts in local government funding from the state, which he really doesn't have any control over, but he listened to us and seemed to be a little compassionate about that. On Tuesday, we had our stormwater meeting, went well, and also our investment advisory committee meeting, which I mentioned earlier. And Dan Telerik said that we are on point to receive our $1 million that he has said from most of the year that we would be receiving. Also mentioned how we are down about over $7 million over just a few years ago in our interest income. So that's why the county is having issues trying to maintain services with the loss of revenue. So I think that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, very busy week. Last Wednesday, I was invited to present issue 1 to the Coalition for Hispanic Issues in Progress. And they had all the candidates and the issues there. That'll be seen on Lorain City Schools channel and on Lorain County Community College channel. Myself, Jim Cordez, and Frank DiTilio met with Scott Nally last week, the Ohio EPA director. He was in town to see what a great program we run for solid waste. Fine job, Mr. Bailey and staff. Appreciate all your help. He was impressed by how Lorain County is doing their recycling, and he was really interested in the companies that we were able to get the revolving loan fund grants for. So I'd like to thank the EPA director for spending the day here. I attended the Forum Medical Cannabis last week in Oberlin. I was actually one of the speakers on it. We had a nice turnout in Oberlin. I'd like to thank Cheryl Schumann in from California for helping us with the Ohio tour. I also, Saturday night, the Boy Scouts of America, I had a dinner honoring distinguished citizen Terry Good. And just, again, a great guy who's done a lot for the community, who's just participated in the things he's started and been involved with is just amazing. Great job and great honor. Terry deserved it. Again, Stormwater District meeting, nothing out of the ordinary. And last night I presented at the League of Women Voters in Oberlin, which is issue 1, which is again going to be televised on Lorain County Community College channel. What's nice about League of Women Voters is they allow questions from the audience afterwards. So I was up there about half an hour after delivering what we're doing and how we have been able to shrink county government, but how we're in dire need of additional funding to move forward in light of all the state cuts that we've had to endure. End of my report.
Thursday, we were all at different events. I did stop in at Licata and gave them the proclamation, and then headed over to Wellington Township for the Township Association meeting where I actually presented on issue 1. Seemed to have good support there. State Representative Terry Booth did come out, talked about some issues going on in Columbus, which should be cleared up, from what he's telling me.
They're going to get the emergency vote on that issue?
Emergency vote's not required, but I guess this is one of the times where everybody's in agreement.
Good.
So that should be taken care of. And on Friday, I stopped over at Job and Family Services. The employees invited us over there, the union invited us over there. I did stop in there and got to talk to some employees, got to see the center's clean. Not real busy on Fridays, I was told, in the afternoon. Most of it's during the morning, during the week. I did notice one issue of concern there, and it's an issue for me, I think, throughout the county. I know that you guys voted on this, but I'll ask you to reconsider this. And with my background in call centers and that, having no breaks for the employees, I'd like you to reconsider actually allowing the employees to take at least a 10-minute, preferably a 2 10-minute break for all employees around the county.
Is that part of the bargaining process right now, Mr. Cortez?
It is.
Okay, so we can't talk about that.
Well, I'm looking at, no, I'm talking about entire countywide, even 911. We're not in there bargaining on that. I'm just looking at changing it for the entire county. I think I never worked for a company where you didn't get at least a break. Professional, atmosphere, or manufacturing, you always got a break. And, you know, when you're in the professional environment, a lot of times you work through it. but it's nice to know that, hey, at this time I could go downstairs and I could make a phone call if I need to make a phone call to pay a bill or something else, or just to kind of refresh. So just something to consider. On Saturday, went to the Day of Atonement. Great event. They had some wonderful dancers from Oberlin College. Fun times. Tim Carrion was the actually led the ceremony there. Tim, great individual, class act, and I just want to thank them for inviting me to that event. And then Monday, I'll hold off on that. Huh?
Auditor of State.
Well, yeah, the Auditor of State, Job and Family Services, our fraud department.
Yeah, you should bring that up, what you brought up to him
He-
about the fraud.
Yeah, most people don't realize that our fraud department at Job and Family Services leads the state of Ohio in collections. 2012, they collected over $1.3 million. And this year alone, they identified over $7 million worth of fraud. They just don't have the staff in order to go through and to work on that. They are down one employee there, and because of the Auditor of State put together a fraud, more aggressive in fraud claims with the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, I asked him to talk with the state to see if they would be able to do more for the county that's actually leading the entire state in fraudulent claims. So, great job there, and there's only 5 employees that are doing this, and they're collecting the revenue, and it's enough to actually offset all their costs for that department. So, end of my report.
Report.
October 29th, you'll have your town hall meeting in the City of Avon. Board correspondence?
Move the reading be waived.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams? Public comment?
Teresa, just want to know if you could put on there, I'll be in Huntington Township too,
Yeah.
so people will know I'll be there for the candidates night.
Anyone wishing to address the board this morning? If not, we'll move into executive session as outlined by the county administrator.
Second.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.
We load up an 18-foot trailer, rugs, cables, audio-video equipment, sound systems, all the lighting,